Hey,
Good evening,
Tom.
Carmen Crypto. How are you today?
I'm doing good. It's a little cloudy here in Vegas, which is abnormal, but we only get it a few times a year. But I love your intro. Great job. Now the question is when pulse chain?
All right, once again I started with the echo in my ear because I had multiple systems going on. But I had a nice new intro this time. I pre-recorded that and got a lot of info out there that I usually stumble on with my live impromptu script. So this is our sixth episode of this now, and the views are going up and the word's getting out about it because we've had a lot of good content. Our little te-de-ta here, however you want to say it, seems to be going well and getting new people. Hold on, I think I got a message from our guest. Yes. And it's going well, getting good views, getting good guests, and generating a lot of social media buzz about it. A lot of questions for our guests, a lot of questions for their projects that they're involved in, and a lot of follow-up that people want to know about these projects, want to know about the lessons learned, and they want to know all about what Carmen Crypto is going to tell us today. What is that, Carmen?
I didn't make the title of the show very easy for you to say. It's Crypto Chit Chat with Carmen Crypto. It's all those things. I know.
I always blow it. It's alliteration at its best, and I get it confused. But I keep trying, and I smile. Just admit defeat.
I have the easy job. I get to bring my friends in. We talk for an hour. Everybody gets to get the alpha and get some really good information, especially if you're learning in this space. But you've got us streaming on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and in the Telegram for our Monday night huddles with the DBT fam. So thank you so much, Tom, for all that you do. Tonight is really special because, DBT made an announcement in June about our road to Pulse Chain. And it's going to be the first, second network that we want to have a presence on. And since then, I have been working with the Pulsecon crew to help get as many people into this conference as possible. And through that, I have met so many great leaders, project leaders, community members, and this is no different. Like, we've had this guest on before, but today we get to really drill his brain, not about DBT, but get in there about what's new coming at PulseCon and a little bit more about Pulse Chain and Richard Hart. So our community really needs to know, why do we want to do this?
Trending topics right now, I might add.
When Pulse Chain. So without further ado, guys, my friend and a good partner of mine in this space, Tony Salazar, T-Money.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, Tony. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure always to talk to Carmen and people that are in the know about Pulse Chain and PulseCon and what's happening in crypto. It's funny because everybody's talking about the bear market and, oh my gosh, and freaking out. But this is the best place to be is at the bear market, because that's where you buy. Everybody buys the dip, right? Not the top. So, this is the place. This is the time to be.
It is an exciting time. And one of the things that I love about being in this space, Tony, is that when I met you, you are also a very tenured trader in the crypto sphere. Yeah. So this is not your first rodeo.
Nope.
No sweat, no stress.
No,
all that you got.
No, I mean, so it's not my first rodeo. I've been in crypto since 2013. I've been through 3 cycles already. So, like, if you remember, the first cycle was about 2014. That was I count them by halvenings, right? So that was kind of like the first halvening where we had the all-time high of $920 or $940 or something like that for crypto, and then went all the way down to like $23 and lost like 70% or more, 80% of its value. And then it ran up again in 2017. That big run up it hit the all-time high of 20,000, and then of course it went all the way down to $3,000 again in that neighborhood, right? And then now this is my 3rd cycle, so it's like old hat to me. It is what it is, and
scary. At least scary. I've only been through 1.
Oh, Well, you'll get your chops, right? You get your
Tom and I are
calluses.
chumbalons, so we got a red flag.
I still don't
white
know how to
flag
sleep.
ready, but we're learning not to do that.
Yeah, no,
So
you don't want to watch your stuff. You want to be in projects that give you dividends, right? Like especially in the bear market, where you kind of DCA in. You don't want to like. You still want to have your side hustle, your business, or your job, and I hate to say that, but your go to work for the man kind of guy, but and you put your little bit of money in. You don't want to go all in, just because you want to DCA through the whole step.
Tom, do you
Right?
hear that? We don't ape in. Aping
No,
in is not like the thing to do.
Every
no,
time
not
I've
right
aped
now. We're
in,
gonna go
I've
sideways.
double aped out.
Yeah. So if everybody's like, if you're looking at Ethereum and Bitcoin, so I'll give you my predictions. These, not financial advice, as everyone says. These are just my opinions. I feel that Bitcoin's still going to go down to about 11,000. That's my prediction. That's the all-time low for this bear market, and then it's going to capture again. It's going to go sideways for a little bit, and then probably is going to get a new run up on late fourth quarter of this year, early into 2023. Those are my predictions. But I do feel that in 2024, early first quarter of 2024, it's probably going to go to 250,000 per Bitcoin.
That's a lot
So
of
yeah.
moolah.
Yep. So if you know how to have
Some
some
lettuce.
diamond hands, right, as they say, that's the way to do it. And Ethereum is the same thing. Now, Ethereum is a whole different animal, because even though it's pegged to Bitcoin, you have a lot more utility for that. Think of it in the old days. You had the gold and then the silver, right? Bitcoin's gold, that's what they say, and then Ethereum's the silver side, because that's the more utility side of things. More things are made with silver than gold. So, yeah, that's how.
Good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the use case, right? And so, plus because Ethereum has smart contracts, I know that one of I would say a good bronze, chain that's coming up is ADA, right? So ADA, right, or Cardano, if whatever you want to call it. But the thing is that with ADA is there's not a lot of stuff getting built. Like, I mean, there's a lot of DeFi, but there's not a lot of I don't know. It's still infant, because they just came out with their smart contract, and it's expandable. It has it's not built on Solidity. It's built on Halarsky, right? The language. So
sounds like a 70s TV show.
Right? No, it's not
Pularsky and Hutch tonight at 8.
There you go, Starsky. Is it Halarsky or Helinsky?
I don't know what it
I'm
is.
sorry, I'm not a coder.
Well, we have a new contender, Pulse Chain.
That's correct. Well, that is still.
We're all waiting, and every day, Tony, somebody comes up to our team and goes, "When?" And there's Telegram messages too. Like, we have reached out to like every token that is launching on the Pulse chain or has advertised that they're gonna. And before they even address our, opportunity to collaborate through the conference, they go, "So do you know when this is gonna happen?" And it's kind of affected a lot of people's feelings about it. And, we kind of take a look at it and we go, you're in crypto. Like, if you're waiting for Pulse Chain, you're probably into something else. And for that reason, we have to kind of clarify that this isn't just for tokens that are on Pulse Chain, that you're really treating this like a cross-chain event. And if anybody takes a look at your website, we see so many tokens that are from a lot of other blockchains. Why do you think that has been the case?
So, like, let me give you let's scurry back a little bit. So if people that don't know about Pulse chain and the rollout of Pulse chain. I don't know if you guys remember, but it's it's a big deal. I mean, even bigger than before, because like I remember when Bitcoin Cash came out, you had for as long as you held your Bitcoin, you would get Bitcoin Cash when it forked, right? Now it's funny because everybody asks the question when. The actual accurate question is what blockchain, what actual block number is it going to do the snapshot? Okay, because not even the founder can tell you. Even the devs can't tell you, because I mean they can pretty predict the timing of it, but it's think of it as like a mile marker, right? You're driving down the highway, and it's at mile marker 5, let's say, it's gonna fork. There's a fork in the road, right? But it all depends on how fast your car is going, or how slow your car is going. How many blocks are being made at that time. I mean, like I said, you can probably guesstimate, but the real question here is at what mile marker is Pulse chain is going to drop on the Ethereum subnet, right? Or mainnet. So when that happens, there's going to be a fork in the road, right? And that fork is going to be, instead of highway mainnet ERC20 tokens, right? You're going to divert to the Pulse chain, highway, which is a very cool super highway, right? Think of it as like, say that, how you have your highways and it has the on-ramp, right? The ramp that you go onto the highway. It's already embedded, so that's called Pulse X. So that's the bridge to go from one highway to the other, from the Ethereum network to your Pulse chain mainnet, and vice versa. So think of your pancake swap, your quick swap. That's that whole bridge and bridging of your value from Ethereum to Pulse chain. And that's already it's going to be rolling out at the same time. So you don't have to think about it. You don't have to, if you really think, oh my gosh, how can I get the biggest airdrop in crypto history? Pretty much do nothing. As long as you hold your ERC20 tokens in a non-custodial wallet. What I mean by a non-custodial wallet, that means you own your own keys. Like you have a True Wallet or a MetaMask. It's not on an exchange, because if you have those ERC20 tokens on the exchange is going to get your copy. And good luck trying to pry their greedy little hands off of them. Right?
Yeah, now we know about that, because for those, we are on Hotbit exchange, right? We got on in December. Now, anybody who holds their DBT tokens, when we do our airdrops of vote tokens, Hotbit ain't giving those vote tokens out. So you can expect the same experience for any ERC20 Pulse airdrop that's going into an exchange wallet. So I think that there's like an integrity there, because it is truly the largest airdrop in crypto history.
Yep.
And that's what it means by a hard fork of Ethereum.
Yeah.
So any ERC20 token and the NFTs are going to be replicated when this chain goes mainnet. And so what an interesting concept to think that, let's talk a little bit about Richard Hart. So his concept was, let's create a staking platform, and Hex has done wildly well. It created a fanatic community of who you call Hexicans, just the ride or dies of Richard Hart, and that program has changed lives and made believers of crypto. And I think you are one of them. And one of the values that community holds is onboarding brand new people and showing them the power of Hex. Now, the next step.
Yeah, so let's talk about a little bit of Hex, because so Richard Hart, or about Richard Hart first. So Richard Hart was a Bitcoin maxi back in the day. This is probably 2011. He was mining mainly Bitcoin. and he loved Bitcoin, and he was definitely a proponent about Bitcoin. And then, Ethereum came online on 2015. He was leery about it, but then now, pretty much in 2017, 2018, that was the last run up. Right after that, he started developing his own token. It took him about 2 years to develop. I'm going to say 2 years, almost 2 years and a half to develop Hex and what it was. Hex is a token on the ERC. It's an ERC20 token on the Ethereum network. So, and it mimics. It's not a CD. Please don't. Even though the website says, first certificate of deposit in the blockchain, well, it actually mimics a certificate of deposit. So anybody that doesn't know what that means, it's a savings account. Think of it as a savings account that gives you a fixed interest rate. Now, actually, the interest rate is really not an interest rate. It's actually the inflation rate of the minting. When you stake your Hex, you're actually getting newly minted Hex when you stake it, and it's time weighted. So when you stake it, you could put it down for 1 day, or you can push it out for 5,555 days, which is about 15 years. Okay, and so a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, that's real diamond hands. 15 year stakes where you don't move it for 15 years. That's huge on the blockchain. Now, it's not the only one that does that. Keep me in mind, there is other ERC20 time weighted staking platforms as well. I'm not going to mention those because, well, it's not a Richard Hart product. But because we're talking about Richard Hart and why is he relevant to this space, and why the Hexicans are really rabid fans, is because so if you got in on day one of the project, that was December 2nd of 2019. It was right before the big run up, and I think Ethereum at the time was like only $150 per Ethereum. The gas fees are still pretty low back then. And you could stake your Hex. It actually did a free airdrop. You can exchange your Ethereum for Hex for 351 days. So it's free airdropping in a pool for 351 days. And right after that, the 352nd day was called Big Payday. So any Bitcoiners, and by the way, Richard Hart was giving free Hex to Bitcoin holders. All you had to do was to verify that you were a Bitcoin holder, and they would free airdrop you Hex, right? And so anybody that did not claim their free Hex on that in that pool in the Bitcoiners, that was disseminated to all of the stakeholders. So anybody that actually did a stake after Big Payday, that's why they called it the Big Payday, because you would get free Hex for free Hex.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I didn't know those details, and I'm so glad you shared them, because one of the things that gets me so excited about Pulse Chain is just some of the genius behind the strategy to get people to engage with something new. And we all know the monkeys and apes that degens that live in this space, and that's a great incentive. So what's even better is that we know that Hex is successful. It did a 10,000 time gain, and that was within about 2 years. So if it started off with a strategy pretty similar to Pulse, where Pulse is now bringing the largest airdrop in crypto history, there's some bullishness there to say that this is going to also be successful. Now it's got even a stronger direction of momentum, because it's now backed by a community that believes in the products that Richard Hart develops.
So what's the really cool thing about Hex is that you have dividends as well. Now let me explain that. So the inflation of Hex, it's fixed. It's 3.69% fixed, newly minted Hex every single year. And it's only disseminated to the stakeholders. So when you do a stake, automatically the contract issues you T-shares based on how long you've staked and how much Hex you've staked. So based on that, think of it as like your DAO token, maybe, but it's internal. So it's not traded anywhere. It's only you have it internally. It's issued to you. It's called a T-share, and that's pretty much what's disseminating. So when someone, you can unstake at any time, but with penalties, right? So if you do not, so that's the incentive, that's the game theory that's really embedded into Hex. So when you, just like a savings account or like a CD or a 401k, when you withdraw early, you have a penalty. And that penalty is, the computer does that on its own. The smart contract does that all on their own. So you can emergency unstake your stake. And so those penalties only gets disseminated to all the T-share holders, and based on how many T-shares you have. And those are disseminated every single 24 hours. So if anybody unstaked at that time, in that 24-hour period, those get disseminated with the newly minted as well, Hex. So that's why I say there's a 3.69% inflation rate, or if you want to call it interest, just like your Cosmo or Algorand, or some of, just to mention some of the fews when you're minting new coins that way, when it's proof of stake, right? So contract. So but the added kicker, which Bitcoin can't do, and even some of these other like Algorand and Cosmo that doesn't have, is that T-share mechanism. And because it has that T-share mechanism, I feel that's the secret sauce that the others don't have that. So Hex is bar none one of the best tools in a bear market, because then you can kind of use it as a savings account. You're getting more and more Hex, right? If there's price appreciation down the road, that's awesome, right? Because we know we're in a bear market, sure, but you can lock it up for it could be 1 day, 1 week, 30 days, 90 days. It's up to your heart's content, right? And you can even do strategies where you can even do what they call laddering, where you can do multiple smart contracts.
I was just going to say that, because I've seen your demo wallet, and I never thought about that for a staking strategy. But you literally have a lot of like staking contracts.
And so you can have multiple.
They mature at different times, and so they unlock kind of in a consistent manner, and then you just kind of pull your profits and then go right back into something.
That's correct. And so cool. This is one of the things that why we stream Freedom TV does. If you want to go to our channel on YouTube, it's when we talk about the ladder, right, and how we ladder. You could do monthly stakes. So for example, what I did in my demo wallet is I do monthly stakes. So let's say today is or let's say it's August 1st, this is coming up in 1 week, and I'll set 12 months, let's say 365 days, because everything's pitted in days, in 24-hour periods. So I'll go ahead and do one stake for 365 days, which is 12 months. Then maybe my next paycheck, which is in 2 weeks, right, I'll maybe put another $200-300, and I'll put it out for 13 months. And then I'll do, the next 2 weeks, I'll do for 14 months, 15 months, 16 months, 17 months. So when a year happens, right, 1 year happens, I'll get that fixed 3.69, and then I have my dividends from anybody that's doing bad behavior and end staking early, because they can't do the diamond hands like everybody else, right?
Yep.
And so they end stake early, and so those penalties are also coming to you based on your T-share holdings. So what I did was I went out 24 months, right? So I did, you know, a 12-month, 13, 14, 15, all the way to 15 years actually. So, you know, that's 180 contracts. So that's a great strategy because now I have, you know, fixed income every single month, right? And so every month at the beginning of the month, I can say, okay, I can look at my stakes and I say, hey, do I want to, now it's up to me. I have freedom now. I have so much freedom to say, do I want to cash them out? Do I want to roll it over? Do I want to maybe just roll over the principal and cash out the interest? I mean, the sky's the limit, right? You can pretty much, you know, and when I remember when there was this last big run up when Hex did an all-time high of, you know, 53, something like that, 52 cents, somewhere around there. You know, I did cash out some of my interest, right, that I was accumulating. Now, you don't have to stake it. You can keep it liquid in your wallet as well. So, you know, for arbitrage reasons, you know, you can actually do some arbitraging. Or if you want to end stake early, because that's what happened on the run up. You had people that staked at 1 cent, you know, bought, you know, 20, 30, 40,000 hex when it's at 1 cent. It was cheap, right? It was at the dip, and then they cashed out. They end staked early at the 50 cents mark, or 40, at least 45 cents mark. You know, they had this big run up and cashed out right early, and they didn't mind the penalty. Why? Because, you know, I want my value now.
Gotcha.
That's
So
the freedom of Hex.
and I love that because that's one of the pillars of Richard Hart's mission. You know,
Uh-huh.
it's about freedom, financial freedom, your freedom to control your own financial decisions,
Uh-huh.
and to have an understanding and to educate others about security in this space. How do you truly own your own crypto?
Uh-huh.
So, I do have a question from our CTO, Wes, who wants to know if you could share a little bit about how Hedron works.
Okay, no problem. So Hedron just came out probably like 2 or 3 months ago. So it's a second layer on top of Hex. So it's actually using the Hex protocol, right? So they're actually doing a stake for you, right? So you can go on their website. It's hedron.pro, and it's called the HSI stake, or Hex stake interaction, right? That's why
Okay.
it's called the HSI. So pretty much it's you stake that, but at the same time you're doing this. It's adding that second layer of Hedron, where you can actually mint new Hedron as well, which is another their token, their native. It's an ERC20 as well token. Um, and once you can start minting that, or you can even, because now it's a contract. Let's say I would do a 5,000. I lock up $100. Let's say right now it's at 4 cents or whatever, 5 cents. Let's say it's 10,000 hex, right? And that 10,000 hex, I can stake it for 15 years, right? It's locked up for 15 years. And then what Hedron does, it's wrapped inside. So it's using the actual native first layer of Hex, and it's wrapping this other smart contract on top of it called Hedron, and it encapsulates it, you know, quote unquote. You know, I don't know how to describe this, right? I'm just think of it as a wrapper. You know, you have the candy, right, and then you have the candy wrapper.
I went straight to burritos, but I'm with you.
Okay, there you
I'm with
go.
you.
So you know it's a burrito, right? But it's wrapped, and because
Right.
now you can NFT that contract, and you can mint that contract, and then you can sell it on the open market at OpenSea. So it's a great tool because now you don't have to unstake it early. Now you can use it and you know, sell your NFT of that contract for future gains. So like if I lock up right now, let's say again $100, but I lock it up for 15 years. Now you can calculate how much value it's going to have or accumulate in 15 years. And let's say now you can sell it for an uptick, that NFT. and it's in that NFT is a dual signature, right? So it has so you're signing it over that contract to and that's why it's called an HSI stake. And yeah, you can NFT it and sell it on the open market if someone wants to pay for, even though you staked up $100, now maybe it's worth, $1,000 because of those gains in the future. So there, it's kind of like a future a little bit. I don't want to claim that either because it's just a contract, right? So, it's very versatile. And then there's another whole, and there's a whole other project, and I'm not going to go into that one too much because we're just going to be here forever.
Yeah, we could probably do little mini AMAs for all the tokens and projects that are coming to Pulsecon. But what I have found is that there are a lot of emerging pioneering projects that are building on Pulse and providing value. So we have found a couple of tokens that are like doing reflection tokens, and it's not their own, but for other projects that are going to launch on that network. Hedron is a good example of, collaborating with another platform and giving even more value to its holders. And it's kind of inspiring to see because you're watching the innovation of the technology move towards people saying, okay, how can I add value to what exists already?
Well, and not only that, look, like I said, imagine if you knew that this is legacy market. Imagine if you knew you had your own crystal ball and you knew that the stock was going to split. Wouldn't you buy more, especially on a bear market? That's why people are going ape shit about this stuff, right? I mean, literally.
They are, and but it's kind of like twofold because I think one of the things that kind of held back a lot of the excitement, right, is because I think we're all anticipating. I mean, the moment that any leader says a date, anybody who's so passionate about the project lives on that date. Like it's like watching a finale of a show, right? You get a party together, there's food, barbecues are happening, you got the pay-per-view and it's a fight night. But, that date came and went, but for good reason. And so a lot of influencers and a lot of people in the space are really talking about like, oh, there's this delay. But from us at the Pulse conference, our team, we just still see that there are so many active projects that are like, we don't care. We're still building. They've extended their sacrifice periods. They continue to build their community, and they're using this time to even do a little bit more before the launch.
Of course. I mean, look, so we were talking about Hacks and Hedron, right? So now we're going to shift our talk to Pulse Chain. And how's that, so Richard Hart, this is his baby, right? He's the founder of Pulse Chain, and he did the sacrifice, like they call it the sacrifice phase, right? Where you would sacrifice your ERC20 tokens to his address, to the address that he controls, right? Which is huge. And they raised and this is not legacy billionaires and big hedge funds. This is just grassroots raised two rounds. One was for Pulse Chain and the other one was for Pulse X. Pulse X is the bridge, remember? So there's two tokens. I mean, there's one token and a coin. So the native coin is Pulse Chain. That one raised 900, I believe it's almost $700 million or $750 million. Don't quote me on that. You can go on the website pulsechain.com anyways, and you can see all about it. And then the second one, second round, which is Pulse X, and that one raised even more, like almost 900 million, almost $1 billion.
Is real. Everybody had sacrificed for Pulse.
Yeah.
And word got out on the street of how much that was successful. And so nobody really turned down a chance to get in on the Pulse X because by that time you would have missed the first sacrifice, right? So it makes a little sense there.
And it's funny how Richard Hart came up with this whole idea of the sacrifice phase, and it was pretty much to mitigate the whole Howey test, right? So that it won't be claimed as a ICO or some kind of to avoid that whole talk, right?
The SEC knocking down your door saying that's security.
That's correct. And so you have
a security.
A security. There you go. I go blank sometimes, but I didn't want to mention that on stream. Well, anyways,
it's the truth. I mean, we're all talking about it, and I think it's good to be transparent,
anyways,
right?
Well, he's, and now you have all these projects, even in the Binance chain that actually doing their own sacrifice phases now, because, they're taking a page out of his success, right? And, I think, that's the best form of flattery for Richard Hart. Any of these tokens that are taking pretty much copying him, right? That's awesome. So anyways, you have these two sacrifice phases, and so you're like, well, why the sacrifice phase? Well, it's supposed to be, how do you produce liquidity, right? So the whole premise is that when this whole fork happens, right, you're going to have your native tokens, right, from and on ERC20 tokens, and then you're going to have your PRC20 tokens on the other side for free. So now you can yield farm. So you have these two pairs, right? So you get one half of those pairs for free, and now you have a chance to actually contribute to the bridge, right? And you can make your own yields, from yield farming from there. And there's a reward token called Party, PRT, right? PRTY, which is awesome, right? I mean, you get all these functionalities just like PancakeSwap. If you guys know, you guys are in Binance, right? So you guys know how that works. It's pretty much mimicking a lot of that, and he does. Richard Hart makes no bones about it. He actually copied the Uniswap version 2. It's protocol, so why not? It's open source, so that's fine. He did not copy version 3 because it's not open source, but he will be. That's his next. It's twofold. That's going to be his after Pulse mainnet launches. He's announced that he wants to do his own wallet, onboard, offboard tools, and also come up with a version, the version 3, where you have market makers, right? So you have your short losses and stops and whatnot,
without
right?
the crazy gas fees. So
without the crazy gas fees, yeah.
Now, we've seen so many networks come out that also want to solve that problem, right? I mean, right now there's kind of an atmosphere that if you want to be a legitimate token and you want to make big boy money, you should go on Ethereum because not a lot of people can trade there with the gas fees being so high. So they kind of see that as a barrier to entry.
Sorry, ladies and
in
gentlemen,
a positive
Carmen
sense.
and
Or the
Tony's
rest of
feed
us
is glitching a little bit.
trying to learn
Please
the space
stand by.
and test out. We don't know yet who to trust. Sometimes when you first come in, we get shilled so many things. It's so noisy, and so we try getting into multiple projects before we really get our footing in this space, and that could take anywhere from 12 to 18 months. Right. So if you're playing around and 1/3 of your total cost is gas fees, it's not quite a great playground to play in. Yeah. So we're definitely thankful. Now, he is quite a unique character because, if you take a look at the history, he's a Bitcoin maxi that has changed. His heart has changed in terms of like, okay, I see some new technology coming out and I want to embrace that. Then he has developed something that, results don't lie. Hex was really successful. He has a fanatic community behind him, and he's very flaunty. So some people, I think, see him, and when you hear him talk about the technicals and the mission behind why he's developing what he does, hands down, even myself listening to him last year when I sacrificed, I was like, okay, this guy sounds understandable. It makes sense. And yeah, I want in on whatever he's working on because he really sounds like a voice of the people, right? But at the same time too, I kind of like when he shows off what he's got. I like when he's himself. Like if that's himself and you have a buttload of money, well, guess what? You're kind of going to be dripping in whatever you want. And if that's his thing, then good for him. But he's still doing great work. And I don't know, I see him get a lot of flack for that. But
Well,
I think it's kind of cool. Like, I kind of
I
like
mean, part of that I feel is because, you know, crypto has a bad habit, especially on the founders, to not be doxxed, right? People, you know,
yeah.
they and they want to rug pull and be anonymous, and you know, and if you really know how Bitcoin and Ethereum works, it's pseudo anonymous, right? It's, you know, if you really do a deep dive and if you know someone's account, you can find out how much they have in their bag, right? So and that's with Hex, you know, so you can see what pretty much
The
Richard Hart
blockchain don't lie.
has. Huh?
It don't lie. I said the
Yeah, don't
blockchain
lie.
don't
It's
lie.
on the blockchain, right? So
Everything's there
you can
forever.
go on a deep dive for Etherscan, right? And find out, you know, as long as you have that person's you know, address, right, their account, you can do a deep dive and know exactly when they're buying, selling, you know, and whatnot. And that's different from legacy, because in the legacy stock market, you don't know these people, these billionaires, you know, like Tesla and these big founders. You know, you hear it in the news, right? They do these backroom deals, and you know they'll sell off their founder stock, right? And that was it.
Well,
You're just
companies run, and I can't look at their books. I can't look at their bank accounts. I can't see what revenue is coming in, what revenue is coming out, unless I'm
I
privy
mean,
to
kind of.
every.
I mean, you no, you have to wait for 3 months. Every 3 months is every quarter, right?
For their
Their three
quarterly, yeah.
quarterly reports,
But we're
but you
talking
don't
about
even
more
know if those are
transparency.
real, right?
Like if you look at a contract on the blockchain, you
Yeah,
can see what's coming in and out. You can take a look at the marketing wallet. You can take a look at the
yeah,
dev wallet. You know, if those things are announced, you can kind of do your best to take a look at those,
right.
which doesn't quite exist anywhere else. So there's definitely a good platform here for honesty to some degree. We're
And
getting better.
that's why I say crypto in general is going to beat out legacy eventually, because it's stock market version 2, right? 2.0. That's what it is, right? And that's why everybody's like really, you know, just take a page, look at your history book, right? In 1920s, you know, you had the 29th crash, right? Nobody talks about that, right? And nobody even talks about the next pretty much every about, I don't know, like 7-8 years we have a recession. Why do you think it's called a recession? Because the market crashes,
It's
right?
like the happening.
Just
Happening
like the
sounds
happenings.
almost like a horror movie, like an M. Night Shyamalan situation. Like, oh no, the happening's coming.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make sure that we devote some good time because last time that you were here, we went through the website. We took a look at like our 4 billionaire speakers. We had a big chunk of projects coming in, and I feel like it's just even grown like a critter, like a gremlin that got wet or got fed after midnight. It has grown into a beast because
I
at
love
first
that
we were like,
analogy.
oh, this is cross chain, right? We've got Binance tokens. Of course, Ethereum tokens are showing up because they're getting replicated. Solana,
We got
we have
Solana.
some
Yeah.
Polygon ones, but this is where it got better. It wasn't just about tokens going onto the chain. We now have NFT projects, we have metaverse projects, and we are really building a relationship with some great entities within the music space. And so you have done a really great job about kind of curating just an everyone needs to be here type of event,
Yeah.
including what the add-on events look like. You have a golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You have, I'm going to drop some alpha, there could be a pool party.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Zouk nightclub, one of the hottest nightclubs on the Vegas Strip,
Mm-hmm.
VIP party.
That's
Our
where
Villains,
Tiesto has his that's his residency, by the way. Yeah, yeah.
like it's a fantastic nightclub. And then we
Great venue.
also
Yeah.
have the Pulsification official Villains of Pulse doing a mob night in downtown Las Vegas. And
At
that's
the
all
Mob
that we're
Museum.
announcing. That's all that we're announcing for now.
Yeah.
We have just added to the website two music legends. Can you talk about those two? Because they're public now. They're on there.
Absolutely. So the one is Ernie Singleton. He's going to be moderating the music and entertainment panel. He's a legend in his own right. You can look him up. You know, he's got his LinkedIn. You can look at his LinkedIn page. So he used to be the president of the MCA Records company. You know, he's retired now, but you know, this was in the early, like mid 80s, all the way to the mid 90s. Almost 15 years he was in in the helm of MCA Records, and also Universal the R&B, you know, side of things for Universal Music. So he knows the people. He made people's careers, you know, like Albie Shores and Mary J. Blige and who else? Bobby Brown's and New Edition, and you know, all those guys. He's the one. He's the one actually picked them out and said, that guy. We're gonna back that guy, right? I mean, P Diddy, right? He tells a story, and you can about P Diddy being his intern, right? So this is the quality of people that are going to be there, and so in really talking about what their concerns are about the industry. You know, if you're an artist that's, you know, wants to be in the music business, or and wants to know where to start in today, right, and where to bank on, yeah, come out to Pulsecon. He's going to be talking about that, how NFTs and the metaverse. You know, you have Death Row Records that's I mean, they're double downing on the music loops that they're doing for, you know, what's his name, Snoop Dogg, right? So
But this is the kind of space that people are like, I need to know more. And
yeah,
so someone like Ernie has gravitated to our conference as
yep,
a way to kind of like have a stage and have a platform.
yep,
You know, it's been really inspiring to see somebody who's been in the industry for decades, and like a who's who in the industry on top of that. And yet, you know, I'm sure he could be sitting back and just enjoying life right now and been like, I've done my
I'm
job.
done, yeah.
But when he's with us, he has so many questions. Like, he wants to understand what is the power behind Web3 and the blockchain, cryptocurrency, and NFTs, and I can just see his brain like running and running. Like, how is it that artists are not looking at this right now?
Mm-hmm.
How is it that we haven't integrated all of our music systems into this kind of platform? Why are we not building? And that is going to be where a lot of people who are not in this space right now, in the years to come, they're going to be scratching their head saying, why didn't I listen sooner?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, all they hear is somebody, you know, the only time that they kind of perk their ears up is when somebody says Bitcoin and 50,000, 60,000, and they're not really going any further into it. But there are people still in their own industries that are willing, just like Ernie Singleton and Danny Hamilton, to go, I don't think I'm done yet. There's still more to be done.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, there's a whole nother level that we could be at with the power of this if we understand it.
And not only that, like, so I'll give you a good example. Like, do you guys remember VHS?
Yes.
Your
yes.
movies, right? Your VHS
I
movies?
broke my Little Mermaid VHS.
And do you know when Blu-ray technology actually came out?
Mm-mm.
Do you remember?
I think just around the same time. Is that right? A little after?
It was like, no, it was, I mean, it was in the 90s, right? It was in the,
like late 90s.
Oh, in the fight between Blu-ray and HD.
Yeah, they were a lot like, hey, you know, and there was an adoption curve, right? But who plays VHSs anymore? Like, tell me, do you even have a VHS player at your house?
I don't, and I'm upset that I even have DVDs in the house. Like, I want to get rid of
like
them.
Even that,
they don't matter anymore.
Even get rid of those, right?
They don't even matter
they're bulky.
anymore.
So that's kind of like where we're at, you know. Like, you know, you want to know what's next. You as an investor, don't you want to know what's next? What's the next trend?
Look, Season 2 of Miami Vice.
Nice. There you go.
It's the only.
Season 2?
I've been using it as a coaster.
You're talking about the actual TV show or
Oh
the
yeah,
movie?
the original one. Yeah, not the movie. The movie's terrible. The original show. Come on, man, you got to keep that close.
Well, they have the new show, right? My guys, the new one, right?
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same, right? It doesn't have the same, Don Johnson, right?
It's like the new Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons, just a little off. But I'll still watch.
So that's the thing. If you're going to be in this space, don't you want to be educated? Even I've even noticed, like, that's where this is what Pulsecon is all about. People ask me all the time, well, Pulse Chain is not out yet, and why are you having a conference when the Pulse Chain is not out? No, that's when you have a conference, is before the technology comes
build
out.
Build the anticipation. Suspense drives marketing.
You know that everyone that's going to be here wants to have a presence with Pulse Chain, the network, and that they want to be in front of the Pulse community. And guess what? They're bringing more people into this community. So it's serving a lot of purposes. And to your point, Tony, why do it before or after? It makes more sense to do it before. That way people have time to do your own research. Come and meet the tokens. The experience that you have meeting them in their Telegram and on their website and on Pulse's hot list, all the great tools that are coming out to try and introduce them to you. PulseCon is just another tool so that you can get connected. And this way you can come and experience it and vet these projects for themselves and come and see these speakers and come and see these emerging, players within the space that are saying, hey, we support this network, we support this community. And it doesn't matter if we're at mainnet yet, we're going to come and we're going to collaborate together. Bringing people together is never something that's not valuable.
And what we haven't said is testnet's already out. So you can actually go on the testnet and play with it, right? You can, it's beta, right? So you can start building on top of it. So now this is the time you want to build right now. So you can get all your bugs out, right? You can go on testnet, test out the system, because once it's mainnet goes online, you can still build on it, but it's not the same. Right now you want to, because see, you're using the Pulse Chain rails and building your business case on top of it, right? So, like, for example, automatically all of the ERC20 tokens are going to go on Pulse Chain now. So if you already have a great idea or a great project, build on Ethereum now, and when it goes to mainnet, you don't have to do nothing. It's going to automatically go onto the Pulse Chain. Maybe the only thing you got to do is probably create some liquidity on the Pulse side, but you're going to get free tokens anyway, so you can pair those already.
Well, the first is you got to know about it. And here's the cool thing, that when even though the airdrop happens, and let's say somebody's not listening, they don't hear it, their tokens are just going to be there waiting for them once they figure it out. So it's still going out to everybody. We are scrolling through the site right now, and we made some big announcement. We have David Angelo Roman, who is the animator of Rick and Morty. Everybody knows who this is. And so he'll be at PulseCon doing some drawings and like meet and greets there. And I'm like super pumped about that. I told Wes about that too. I was like, guys, look who's coming. And I feel like the FOMO is going to be real.
Same with my son.
Now we are in the last 42 days before the conference. And we all know that in crypto time, that's still forever. And that we are prepared as an entire team for FOMO to set in and for people to be like, oh my God, are there still tickets? Oh my God, are there still spaces? And we're going to do our best to accommodate, but you need to come in. If you're listening and you know a project, you're a project leader, or you need to get your tickets, get them ASAP. Get connected to us ASAP. Connect with me or T-Money, however you can. Even message into the live chat here. We want to make sure that you don't miss an opportunity, because as we get closer, it gets really hard to accommodate, customization and packages and building the booths, because this is a high class event. We're not just throwing around tables. The actual booths
Ooh.
themselves are created and built for you with graphics. So we are on a deadline of just what, like 6 days for anybody that wants to get their booth built out, before we kind of have to go with, last minute arrangements. But you have curated such a great event so far that who has time to do anything else in Las Vegas? Because you have jam packed it with parties, after parties, mom museums, golf tournaments, pool parties with the who's who of music, and 4 billionaire speakers and 5 panels, along with all the exhibitors at
That's
one of
correct.
the newest resorts in Las Vegas at Resort World. And guess what? Food is included, guys. Your food and
This is
drink is
going all in
included.
here.
Yep, we're
It
all
really
in.
is. And it's affordable. And so Tom has been helping us out, making sure that you guys get your chance to get a ticket for Pulsecon 2022. You go to Pulsecon2022.com, go ahead and get your tickets, and make sure that you use the code Pulsify, Pulsify, to get 15% off. Now, we do recommend that if you are going to be in Vegas and you're traveling in, get one of the tickets that includes your night stay. And if you're traveling with anyone, just get one of the gold tickets. And that way you guys get access to the reception at Zouk Nightclub, all of the events that are happening at the conference, with speakers and exhibitors. And you also get to stay on premise at the resort in one of their beautiful rooms. I've stayed there, Tony, and you picked a great place. I know it's not simple. It's not a simple
Where
task
is the
to
new
put together.
place?
It's Resort World.
Yep, Resort World. It's the newest hotel and casino on the Las Vegas Strip.
I mean, where is it? It's on the south end. I haven't been to Vegas in probably
Closer
3
to
years, 4 years.
It's
Stratosphere.
like it's kitty corner around where to Win. So it's on the same side of where the Win is, but across the street.
Like the old Circus property or something?
Right next door to the Circus property. That used to be the Stardust.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. So they imploded that one, and now it's big, huge. It's a 10-acre property, big campus. There's a mall there inside. There's
I love Vegas.
a lot of food. There's food courts there. There's restaurants. There's pools that it's bar done.
There's hidden speakeasies. I've seen Katy Perry there. Really great restaurants and good food. They kind of have like an Asian food court, and the ordering system is pretty cool. I like going there as a local myself because, gosh, you can't deny that the side of that building is huge. It has a 100,000 square foot billboard on the side. One of the biggest billboards I've ever seen. And if you want
we have
on
access,
that too,
we got full access to put if you want to put really go at it and put your sponsorship dollars to use, they can in your marketing. You get 4 days of your marketing right on the side of the building. Who has that? Only in Vegas.
Pulsecon does.
Yeah,
Pulsecon has it. And what a great community to back you behind, such a big endeavor. It's the first of many conferences to come. Congratulations, Tony, on all you have done so far in supporting this community. I didn't know when I sacrificed my hex that I would be sitting in this position almost exactly 1 year later. Like it was a year ago that we sacrificed, homeboy. And here we are trying to bring everyone together for the betterment of something brand new. And guess what? This community doesn't take any BS. That's something I have learned. So if you're coming in, and I expect all my DBT fam to know that when we get into Pulse, we are coming in as DBT. I don't know if they're going to like the FUD room. I don't know if they're going to like the FUD room. They may or may not. I think the villains of Hex might like it. I'm going to get on their show and we'll test out the waters and see how they like it. But we're definitely excited at DBT to be doing our bridge over. There's so much on that chain that we love that we think really aligns with our mission. But we love onboarding new people. We want everyone to get into crypto and have control over their own financial future and get smarter as investors. So as part of our mission, we definitely are proud that we're going to be at PulseCon and having our presence there as one of the pioneering tokens and saying, hey, this is what we're about, and hoping to onboard some more people as we wait for that to come mainnet. Tony, thank you so much for your time today. Out of all the meetings that I know that you have, you bring me on to Freedom TV, and I want to share the love by bringing you into my DBT fam.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you so much.
And we are going to be on Twitter Spaces tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to check us out, and we'll be speaking there as well. We're going to have some of the influencers in the Hex community speaking, and also we're going to have maybe one or two founder tokens there. So, all right.
I will be on that Twitter space helping out with the Pulsecon crew. So, we'll wrangle the cats over and make sure that they get over there just fine. But you guys are getting a lot of big news here. A lot of communities don't get this kind of alpha from Tony unless you are subscribed to his Freedom TV, where you get freedom from the man.
That's correct. Freedom from the man. Yeah.
And we'll probably be doing some more updates there because I know that we got to get Disco on there too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
We'll get the Burn Father over there.
Awesome. And we've hanged out a couple of times, so he's a great guy, and he definitely brings a big community with him too, so that's awesome.
One day you'll see him without his broken hand. He's had like a baseball mitt the entire time that you've known him.
One of these days.
Yeah.
But again, guys, if you are watching, please make sure that you hit subscribe and like this video. We are doing this every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. if you're in the Eastern time zone. And then this Wednesday, I'm actually going to be inviting Gareth Jones, who's a former NFL player, who is now the founder of FanCentric, into the next Crypto Chit Chat, where we're going to talk about what's in it for him and what's in it for fans in the sports arenas. He's taking on about 44 of the biggest cities in the country and making sure that people get into crypto, that they understand what it's about, and that fans get something really great from participating. So stay tuned for that, and make sure that you check it out on the DYOR Media Network and hit that set notification. That way you don't miss it. And we'll see you next time. Tommy, you want to take us out?
Well, I want to say thank you for Tony coming on the show today and talking to us about everything going on. Carmen, once again, thank you for setting up a great show that we hosted on the DYOR Media Network. In summary, today we learned all about what's coming up with Pulsecon2022, all what happened before that got us to this day. And it's been years, as Tony says, of drawing up or growing his crypto experience. We left out where he got rugged, Carmen. We'll have to get that some other day. But his crypto experience, all the way from the Bitcoin lows of $22 all the way back up to where it is now, and then his beginnings with Hex, all the way through the upcoming launch of Pulse Chain. But that's all we have. As Carmen said, this coming Wednesday, Gareth Jones, former NFL player and now FanCentric, going around the country, spreading the gospel about NFTs, sports gaming, and how that meets with crypto. But anyway, for the crew at DYOR, the crew at DBT, and the crew at Freedom TV out in Las Vegas and at Pulsecon, have a great